So recording. Okay, so good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for day one of the interviews of the Community Nominating Panel for the Board of School Commissioners. We received 17 applications this cycle, and the community panel has voted to move 6 candidates forward for interview. Interviews will be conducted today, May 22nd, as well as the evening of May 27th. The public vote for the top candidates to go forward to Mayor Scott for consideration will be held on May 28th at 6:30 p.m. In compliance with the Public Meetings Act, these meetings will be open to the public, and the links to join the call, as well as the recording of the sessions, can be found on the mayor's page, as well as the Mayor's Office of Children and Family Success social media pages and YouTube page. This evening, the community panel will be interviewing the following candidates: Dr. Heather Lamb, Shalanda Pinder, Amber Woodruff, Melvin Chisholm Jr., and Dr. Deborah Wortham. The community panel will ask one question each for the first round of questions. After everyone has had a question, we will then ask if any of our panelists would like to ask a second round of questions. Panelists, you are able to ask your second question, or you can choose to pass if you do not have any further questions. At that time, we will then turn it over to the candidate to ask questions back to the panel. I'll be the timekeeper for today's interviews and will alert the group when we are nearing the final 5 minutes. Before we begin, I'd like to do a roll call of the community panel members on the call. And so with that, please, when I call the name of your organization, please do say present and then state your name. American Civil Liberties Union. Okay. American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees. Associated Student Congress of Baltimore City.
Present, Saffron Uarden.
Good evening. Okay, Baltimore City Council Education, Workforce, and Youth Committee. Baltimore City Public School Administrators and Supervisors Association.
Here.
Your name, please.
Carl E. Perry.
Thank you. Thank you. Baltimore Family Alliance.
Present, Brianna Kaufman.
Thank you. Baltimore Teachers Union.
Diamond Tay Brown.
Thank you. Disability Rights Maryland.
Present, Tasha Marshall.
Good. Fund for Educational Excellence.
Present, Roger Schulman.
Maryland Alliance of Public Charter Schools.
Present, Mackenzie Allen.
Parent and Community Advisory Board.
President Shortay Anderson.
TA Council of Baltimore City.
President Charles Smith.
Special Education Citizens Advisory Committee.
President Sheila Billups.
Good. And then last, we have our mayor's designee who was unable to join us for today's call. With that, okay, so with that, I see our first, just making sure that our first interviewee is on the line. And my apologies, one quick thing. For the student panel member this evening, please confirm that you have access to the question bank.
I have access, yes.
Okay, thank you. And you see your name, your organization highlighted for your question?
Yes.
Okay, great. So you will actually be our one to start us off then. So give me 1 second. Let me confirm. Okay, Dr. Heather Lamb, are you on the line?
Yes, good evening.
Good evening, Dr. Lamb. Thank you for joining us this evening. As I said, my name is Janelle. Oh, actually, I did not introduce myself. My apologies. My name is Janelle Penny. I am the Chief of Staff of the Mayor's Office of Children and Family Success, and I will be coordinating the interview process with the community panel for nominations for candidates to the mayor, for the mayor's consideration for the Board of School Commissioners. Thank you again for your interest for joining the Board of School Commissioners. The community panel will ask you questions about your experience and your qualifications for the role of a school commissioner. And after they complete their questions, we will then turn the floor over to you to ask your questions as well. This interview will be for 30 minutes, so please be sure to keep your answers succinct yet thorough. And with that, I will turn it over to our student panelists to kick us off.
Okay, hello. My name is
Hello.
Safra, and I am here representing the Associated Student Congress of Baltimore City. And so, our question for you is, what unique skill or characteristic would you bring to the current school board?
Well, let's see. Unique, I would say I've been in education over 30 years, starting off as an early childhood educator, matriculating through to instructional specialist, administration, and various other positions. And so I feel like I bring something to the table in regards to being very, having worn many hats in education and knowing how it feels to be on both sides. I have a daughter who's 25 who matriculated through public school, as well as just having the positions from teacher to, again, administration and all of those other support pieces, as well as special education teacher. And so I think I bring a unique perspective, or I should say unique perspectives to the fields in education, the pieces that need to be played in order to have a successful school year for students. Thank you.
Are we going straight to this next question?
Yes, please.
Okay, good evening. Tasha Marshall with Disability Rights Maryland. How familiar are you with the legal rights of students with disabilities, and more specifically, the rights of students with disabilities in Maryland?
I'm very familiar with the legal rights of students with disabilities. In regards to Maryland, I am not as familiar with it. I relocated to Maryland in 2020, and so I have been in various parts of education. Now, I have worked with early childhood education and moved through to the collegiate level, so I have a few pieces of knowledge in regards to specifics, but I'm not quite as familiar as I should be, and so I would definitely take that into consideration. But knowing about the timeliness, the FAPE, as well as the LRE, least restrictive environments, and things of that nature, making sure that the students are well in an inclusive environment and being taken care of, that their rigor, relevance, and relationship is being built, and so that they have options upon graduation. All of those things I'm truly, truly familiar with.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Brianna Kaufman from Baltimore Family Alliance. Share how you see the role of the CEO and the role of the school board. How do they differ? How do they overlap? And how do they interact?
The role of the school board is to be an supportive board in regards to supporting the families, the teachers, the entire system of the school district. Being very supportive, being a liaison, making sure that the community is heard, making sure that the voices of the children are being definitely heard, as well as teachers and administrators. The CEO is basically the head of the organization, makes those decisions in conjunction with the school board, taking into consideration all of those things that the community has brought to the school board, as well as the administrators. And so the CEO leads the school division, where the school board works hand in hand in conjunction. It's all about working together to make sure that the first thing is first, which is student success and students being able to move forward with a great future from Baltimore City.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Diamond Tay Brown from the Baltimore Teachers Union. The Board of School Commissioners will be negotiating a contract with the CEO of city schools. Please provide your perspective on what factors should be used to evaluate the contract.
One of the main factors that should be used to evaluate the contract is the historical presence of the superintendent that would be chosen. Have they been in a school district that is likened to Baltimore City? Have they had success in regards to that school district, in regards to graduation rates, in regards to early intervention for children, in regards to all types of academic success for those children, and as well as what type of relationship has the superintendent had with the community partners and the parents in that city. And so it's important that you have someone that not only knows the ins and outs in regards to academics, but also knows that partnership and community is key to running a successful school division. Thank you.
think I'm next. I hope I'm not jumping anyone. Again, my name's Roger Schulman with the Fund for Educational Excellence. Thanks for being here. The Baltimore City school system's budget is roughly $1.7 billion and includes local money, state money, federal money, all coming together. And one of the biggest responsibilities of the school board is to approve the budget and monitor the way the financial picture of the school system looks and moves forward. We obviously don't expect most, if any, candidates have had experience with a $1.7 billion budget, but can you share with us any experiences you've had managing budgets, what your role was, how big those budgets were, and specifically what your role was in overseeing that budget?
Okay, the most recent budget that I managed in the millions was the budget of the citywide duty centers for Baltimore City Public Schools. I was the district citywide coordinator, and so it was my responsibility to support the management of those funds to ensure that they were focused on kindergarten readiness for our early learners. And so, again, looking at funds and prioritization is key when you're dispersing those funds. Kind of like Covey, you begin with the end in mind when you're dispersing the funds. And so you're looking at what are the goals and you allocate accordingly in regards to prioritization. So that is the most recent budget that I managed in the millions in that regard. And I was a supportive person, approving expenditures, making sure that the expenditures align with the goals and were very strategic and use the funds very efficiently.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good evening. My name is Sheila Billups, the chairperson for CCAT, which is Special Education Citizens Advisory Committee. My question is, what do you think your role in systemic racism has played in the school system in Baltimore? How should the district leaders address its legacy? What do you think your role would be in this?
Let me make sure I'm understanding the question. So what is my role in regards to systemic racism?
Let me read it again.
Okay.
What role do you think systemic racism has played in the school system in Baltimore? How should the district leaders address its legacy?
Okay. So in regards to systemic racism in Baltimore, just looking at the news, being familiar with some of the things that have happened in the past from Rodney Gray and things of that nature that have affected not only the city, but also the school division, systemic racism has played a role in Baltimore City. However, moving forward, if I am elected or if I am chosen to be on the board, the goal is to mitigate those issues, is to make sure that there's an equitable playing field or that there is equity across the board for all of the students and parents and organizations that support Baltimore City Public Schools students. It's systemic racism is exactly just that, what it is. It is systemic. And so to undo systemic things, you have to create procedures and policies that will undo all of those biases and things that have been championed for years that left things inequitable. So as a board member, it would be my charge to move forward in thinking about the considerations of everyone involved and making sure that students that are Black and brown, the racism piece being in play, making sure that they are aware of what their obstacles are, but also giving them the opportunities to make sure that they can forge ahead and overcome those barriers. So it's basically undoing what has been done, and that comes with policies and procedures.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon. Charles Smith from PTA. Nice to have you this evening.
Thank you.
All right. Share your impression of the alignment between the school board and the parents in the community. How would you respond when parents or the community are not aligned?
Okay. So the alignment with parents and the community and the school board, they have to go hand in hand. We have to be aligned. There's a non-negotiable piece there because we have to keep the main thing the main thing. And the main thing is the best is the student's interest and having the students at heart. So when parents and the school division and the school board are not aligned, there is a division, and sometimes it will definitely affect how the students respond in school, where you would have discipline issues, where you would have absenteeism issues and things of that nature. But when you have the buy-in of the community and the parents with the school division, then there is a unified front to ensure that those young people are getting what they need, and it is encouraged at home that they come to school and do the things that are appropriate for their future. So if there is some type of misalignment where parents and the community is not aligning with the goals and the strategies of the division, it is imperative that we move out into the community and have very pointed and deliberate discussions with parents in regards to the importance of education. And again, reminding them that we have their best interest of their children at heart. And so I think you gain more, what is it saying? You gain more bees with honey. So it's all about making sure that they understand that we want their children to be successful as well, and that everything that we put in place is in the best interest of them. And so usually what I found in my history, that when you make sure you make the students first and the children first, the parents tend to follow.
Thank you.
I'll chime in now. Good evening, Dr. Lamb. How are you?
Good evening. I'm fine. All is well.
Good. Very good. Nice to see you. And
Thank
thanks
you.
for joining us this evening. I represent the Administrators Union, and there is